If you have heard of the disco era, then you must be interested in the fashion trends that define that iconic period. And when it comes to eyewear, the 70s had something truly unique to offer. Those thick black frames and horn rims of the past were suddenly replaced with a wide variety of choices that could even be considered fashionable. It was a revolution in the world of eyewear, and today, we're going to take a trip down memory lane and explore the eyewear from the disco decade and beyond. But before we dive into the images and ads that capture the essence of this era, let's remember what it was like to wear glasses in the 60s. If you wore spectacles back then, you were stuck with unflattering and self-esteem crushing eyewear. But something changed in the late 60s. The eyewear game was transformed, and suddenly, you had options that were not only functional but also stylish. Just look at John Lennon, who went from those black-rimmed spectacles to his trademark round-frame glasses when the late 60s arrived. It was a new generation, and a new age of eyewear had begun. Now, let's take a look at some images and ads that showcase the eyewear of the 70s and 80s. We won't be focusing on sunglasses today, that's a story for another time. Instead, we'll explore the possibilities that eyewear offered during this period. In 1968, we see an attempt to add some flair to eyewear, although it may not be particularly flattering. But it was a step in the right direction. Fast forward to 1977, and we have Pierre Cardin eyewear, showcasing the fashion-forward designs of the time. Diane von Furstenberg fashion eyewear from 1976 was all about pure face flattery and colors inspired by nature. And who could forget the avant-garde optics of the 70s, inspired by next year's international fashions? Moving into the 80s, we find a Good Housekeeping magazine makeover from 1989. The glasses may not give her the sophisticated look they claim, but she's definitely improved from her before picture. And in 1987, we get a peek inside an optical center, where the choices seem endless. Elite eyewear from 1988 showcases the elegance and style that defined the decade. But let's not forget the early 60s, where we find an interesting invention called hearing glasses. And of course, we can't talk about the 70s without mentioning Lynda Carter as Wonder Woman. Her massive glasses were just as iconic as her superhero persona. As we journey through these old photographs, we can't help but notice the evolution of eyewear. From the old-school plain variety to the tinted lenses and fashionable frames, the new eyewear fashions took some time to trickle down to the small-town average Joe. And while go-go boots had found their way to Middle America, fashionable glasses had not. But amidst all the fashion trends, glasses were still seen as a hallmark of unpopularity. It's a sad reality captured in a found photograph from the 70s, where we're challenged to spot the most popular girl. Before we conclude our journey, let's take a moment to appreciate a couple of eyewear-centric album covers. While some frames may engulf the face, they still hold a certain charm. And if you know of any album covers that center on eyewear, excluding sunglasses, they're definitely worth exploring. The most exciting part is still ahead, so let's immerse ourselves in the images and reminisce about that era. Stay tuned for a follow-up article covering sunglasses. Cheers!